Stream 85 plus live.
Can affect. Introducing Michelob Ultra.
If the idea of then just sell it to Zillow.
For over 2 decades, we focused on one philosophy, the 10 life values. A system that helps us examine our lives, our vision, our leadership. Our products and our services are exclusively for men, all men. The ones who teach and mentor our kids, maintain our livestock and grow our food, make and repair our products, saves us from catastrophe, and protect our nation. The 10 life values are woven into every product and service we create. Because at the end of the day, our vision is to see all men from every community equipped with the appropriate processes and the necessary tools to be excellent fathers and the best version of themselves they can be.
What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform, man. Much love. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in right now. If you are tuned in, if you are tuned in, make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button for me. Hit the like button. After you hit the like button, share the show. Share the show, share it on your community tab. Anywhere that you share videos, make sure you share this show. This is your first time here, first time listener. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content. Right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Excuse me. Had to get a sip of water, but salute to all the visionaries out there, man. Salute to all of the visionaries, everybody who supports Sheep Stay Sleep TV, everybody who support me, DS1 Ross. Salute to the A-Game family. Salute to the A-Game family. Salute to the A-Game Nation. We back with another one right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Like I said, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the share button. And we're going to get into it today. We're going to talk about a topic that's taboo. But before we get into it, let me give some shout outs to the people that's in the chat. Shout out to Malika. Peace to you, my brother. Peace to you. Shout out to Sir O. Salute to Sir O in the building. Shout out to Golden Child, man. Salute. Shout out to Golden Child on the check-in, man. So salute to y'all. Like I said, salute to the visionaries that's tuning in. Salute to everybody that's going to be coming through today. And we back with another one on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to Ism in the building. Salute. Salute to my man, Sir Ism, man. Appreciate the check-in, bro. And y'all see today's show. But before we get into the dissertation, I want to speak on the music selection. See, because a lot of times when I play music during the week of my shows, because on Comedy Hour, when y'all hear me play music, I'm just playing music that I like or music that I want to hear at that time. But during the week, when you hear me play the songs that I'm playing before the streams, it's because it correlates with the topic. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but the music, 90% of the time that I play during the week, it goes with the topic of the show. So today, y'all heard me playing G Herbo, if y'all didn't know who that was, and Meek Mill. Now, Meek Mill and G Herbo are two entertainers, two black men who have children, who have a family they have to take care of. But these guys also, they come from the ghetto. They come from the ghetto. And shout out to the Crimson Cure on the check-in. Salute. Appreciate you. Not only do those guys come from the ghetto, but a lot of people don't understand that in the ghetto, mental health is something that's never mentioned. Mental health in the hood or the ghetto is taboo. If you have a mental health issue, they hide it from the time you're a child. Your parents make sure nobody really knows. You hanging out with your friends growing up, nobody knows. And this is common in the ghetto. This is common. It is common for not only for mental health issues to be hidden or swept under the rug, but they're also not addressed. There's a lot of traumatized brothers in the ghetto, and they're still there right now. And they've been there their whole life. And they're part of a lineage of black men who come from those same conditions. Those same terrible living conditions. Other men who came before him dealt with those same issues. And a lot of times, people don't assess that in the hood. Like, if you see a young dude out there selling drugs and committing crime, how many times do people stop and think and say, well, could he just be doing something that he just was taught to do? See, because for a lot of us, that was our way of life. You know, we come up in families that are violent. And I'm not saying they're naturally violent, but we're prone to violence. We're prone to street things. We're prone to the streets. A lot of us brothers grew up in that. It's not just we was in the neighborhood where it was going on, but we was in a family where it was going on. And I'm bringing this up because a lot of people think that demonizing the ghetto is something cool to do. A lot of people think they better than the people in the hood. Instead of sitting back and understanding why those people are the way they are in that environment. So when you look at a G Herbo, when you look at a Meek Mill, if you go and you listen to that song that I played again, Trauma, in that song, he was talking about how his trauma started when he saw when he had to deal with his father being murdered from the time he was a young boy. You see? He said in the song, ain't no PTSDs. In the hood, it's not cool to say you got PTSD. They'll laugh at you. PTSD? What you talking about? What, you scared? You scared? Go get a dog. You scared? Go in a house. So black male mental health in the ghetto is ignored, is shunned, is laughed at. See, no one stops and think about this. We're taught to be reactionary people, which is to what? Only deal with the result of the issue and don't deal with the problem. See, that's a backward way of thinking, which ties into a backward value system, which is why health is not valued in the ghetto, especially mental health. Who stops and thinks about what a young black boy is thinking in the middle of Fort Greene projects in Brooklyn, New York? Who stops that young black boy who's walking home from school every day by himself? Who's stopping that little black boy that's growing up in East New York, Brooklyn, and asking him, hey, young man, how you feel? What are you thinking about? No one. No one stops us. You know how I know? Because I was one of those boys. I was one of them walking home alone. Yeah, I was one of them. Me and my friends. No one asked us what we thinking. No one asked us what we're talking about. So you can't bring up PTSD in the hood. You can't do that. You see? So from the time Meek Mill was 5 years old, he's been traumatized. He said the first time he experienced trauma is when he had to deal with his father being killed. And he had to become the man of the house. See, we like to speak about poverty, right? We like to speak about poverty only from a financial perspective, but we're not speaking on the effects that poverty has on Black men mentally. This is why I constantly been saying lately that the plantation is in your mind, is in your head. You see? So when you're dealing with unresolved trauma, you get things like depression. A lot of us brothers self-medicate when it comes to dealing with depression. And I had to actually go and look up because my wife been telling me for years that depression is a mental health problem. I didn't know that. I used to argue with her. I've been arguing with her for years. I don't even argue with her no more. It's been a while since I've argued with her about this depression thing because I went and looked it up and I had to go and I had to tell her, you were right. And I had to apologize to her. Depression is a mental health issue. And then I had to sit back one day and say, damn, well, why was I arguing with her about that? You know what? And you know what came to me? That dude, you have normalized being depressed. You think depression is a way of life. This is what the majority of us Black men deal with every day. We deal with our depression very dysfunctionally. And we've normalized depression. We've normalized it. We don't even think depression is mental health. Oh man, I'm a Black man. Shit, I could deal with it. That's how I carried it. And in a lot of ways, I still carry it like that today. And I understand and I know it's dysfunctional. And see, when you get around positive people in a positive environment, they can start to see those things. They can see when you withdraw. They can see when those thoughts start to pop up in situations. I know a lot of us brothers are dealing with this. And when we talk about it as if it's okay. We talk about it from a standpoint of, well, I'm a man. I gotta be strong. Bro, you're not being strong, bro. You ignoring it. Ignoring something is not strength. Facing it and dealing with it and fixing it is strength. Not saying, well, it's going to be there, that's not strength, bro. That's not strength. See, we was taught the wrong way because we were taught a backward value system where health is not valued. This is why you hear when people become quote unquote awakened, or now they woke, or you hear them say, I'm conscious. This is why you hear them start saying health is wealth. Because what? I'm about to show y'all why. Right here. This is why. This is why. Because in the 10 life value system, health is the second most important thing. Or it's supposed to be the second most important thing in your life. See, when you begin to assess your trauma, you begin to become healthier. Why do you think heal is in the word health? Why do you think the word heal is in the word health? Why do you think that's so? You can't talk about healthy living if you don't heal. Because what? The word heal is in health. You can't spell health without heal. How you going to do that? Explain that to me, sir. Explain that to me. Can you spell healthy without putting heal in it? And I'm proud of, I have to commend guys like Meek Mill, guys like G Herbo, to drop these tracks that I was playing. Now, if y'all want to go and check out those songs, that's on the Championships album by Meek Mill. Now, let's go into that real quick, because this show is about them anyway. I'm going to draw from them. See, because I draw from my brothers. And I want my brothers to draw from me. That's why I'm here. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Salute to all the visionaries. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that share button. But if I'm not mistaken, I think number 2 on the Championships album is Trauma. I'm not sure. But it's ironic that this track, Trauma, right, is on the album that's named Championships. That's ironic to me. It's ironic because and it's not me tooting my own horn, but it sounds like he's saying you can't truly win if you don't heal. That's just what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he's saying he's won the championship because not only did he build, but he healed. He healed. He's working on the inner him, the real him. With that money he has, with the money he has, he's working on his health. He's dealing with the real him, the inner him. That's why he named it championships. Because now that's when you're really winning. That's when you're what? Thriving. That's when you're on the road to thriving now. Because now you understand that the only one that could stop you is you. Because you done dealt with the things your mama put you through. You done dealt with the things you went through in school. And the things you went through in the hood with your homies. Your so-called homies. We're going to talk about that on another show. But you done went through all those things and you done overcame the emotions and the traumas that come with that. So that's why he named the album Championships. Whenever you see any athlete win a championship, what do you see? What do you see? You see confetti, right? You hear a bunch of horns, a bunch of celebrations, champagne popping everywhere. But from the time I was a little boy and I was watching sports, what captivated me during any championship for any sport, it was the fact that I saw men embracing one another. I saw men being emotionally vulnerable. They let those feelings out. You see dudes screaming and crying. You see dudes laid out on the floor crying. You see some dudes stomping their feet crying like a baby. Because what? They won. They're winners. They're not who everybody said they were. And they've proven that. They've done something they've always dreamed of doing. See, let's stay in that moment and capture that moment. This is why I feel bad for guys like Carmelo, who never won a ring because he grew up in the ghetto, where young black boys are traumatized. Your first introduction to trauma may be on the basketball court at the playground. Salute our brother Father's time on the check-in. A-Game family, A-Game nation. In the hood, that may be your first time you ever experienced some real direct trauma. Could be on that basketball court. The first time you ever saw somebody get killed could have been on that court. Your first drug sale might have been on that court. So I know in that environment, guys who are playing on those courts, man, they're telling themselves, man, I want to get out of here. Man, I'm gonna prove to these dudes that I'm great. I'm not like this. I'm better than this. And black boys who come from that environment, who are into sports, that's what they want to show the world. That's not me. That was just a stage in my life. I'm not lazy. I'm not a setback. I'm not a procrastinator. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. I'm strong. I'm brave. I want people to be proud of me. I want to be a great representation of my community, of my neighborhood. But how could you do that when you're traumatized? How could you do that when depression is normalized to black boys, to black men? I just told y'all my story. Shout out to Andre Bishop. He said, don't worry about Melo. His brother got him. Trust and believe. Laker contract coming soon. Man, that's good to hear, bro. Shout out to Andre Bishop. I appreciate the donation, man. Appreciate the donation. And Melo and LeBron, they definitely are bros. So you're right about that. So I'm gonna definitely be watching out for that. But how could you ever have the courage to say, I'm going to be great, if everyone in your environment tells you you're not? If everyone in your environment tells themselves they're not great? So if you are in an environment that's telling the people they're not worth anything, they're not valuable, that's what you're going to tell yourself. This is why depression was normalized to us. See, that is the process of you not valuing yourself. It starts with them telling you as a little black boy that what you think doesn't matter. The thoughts that are in your head is not real. It's just your imagination. My mother used to tell me that. Son, that's just your imagination. This is why today black boys don't have dreams. And this is why mediocrity is our crutch. Shout out to the Crimson Cure, because as I said on that show, she inspired me to do that show. But mediocrity is our crutch because from young, we're told not to dream. We're told not to have dreams because we're told not to use our imagination. And when you can't use your imagination as a man, you know what that does? That messes with your foresight. When you're told not to be creative, not being allowed to think, that messes with your masculinity. This is why today, a lot of black boys, you don't see them speak. It's not because he's recluse. It is because he doesn't think what he thinks is important or matters. This what leads to depression in black men. And then with us being told, well, if you talking about PTSD or depression, you must be a punk or you must be scared. What do you think that does to the black male mind? What do you think that does to the black male body? What do you think that does to our health? I had to realize how traumatized I was. I was arguing that depression isn't a mental health issue. I was doing it. Me. Mr. Hill before you Bill. Yup, me. Me. I was arguing for years that depression ain't got nothing to do with mental health. Man, that's some shit that's life. That's life. That's what I used to say. That's me, Mr. Hill. Me. You know what that showed me? How much healing I need. How the trauma is layered. This is why I played those songs. So you can hear the layers of trauma. They're discussing their experiences that traumatize them on so many different levels. Watching your friends being murdered. Maybe watching your dad be murdered. Your mom be murdered. Your father go to the federal penitentiary. Your mama go to the federal penitentiary. Your mama doing drugs. Your mama selling a body out in the street. Your sister selling a body out in the street while you selling drugs and your homies is smashing your sister. Do you know we have to deal with all of that? And we don't even think that dealing with that is a mental health problem. We're told, hey, just deal with it. That's what I was told. That's why for years, I didn't think depression was that serious. Because from young, we're taught to put things to the side. We're taught how to do that. Shout out to Mr. Boogeyman. He say, as black men, we are taught that at an early age to have dreams, which leads to not have dreams, which leads to a lack of values. Facts. Absolute facts. That's why I brought that up. Black boys are not allowed to have an imagination, which affects our foresight, which affects how we see ourselves, which affects the value system. Shout out to Mr. Boogeyman. Appreciate you, bro. And I appreciate you showing that you still be listening to the content, man. I appreciate you, bro. But I also played Big Sean. I'm single again. I played that song because in that song, not only did he speak on the things he went through, which I think they're engaged now, Jenny Aiko. He didn't just speak on what happened with him and Jenny Aiko during their breakup, but he also went into why he's the way he is. He started speaking on how he finally had to accept the effects that it had on him not having his dad. How that affected him psychologically. He had to admit that him just growing up with his mom and his mom struggling, how that affected him. That's why if you go back and you listen to the song, listen to the song. He's saying he was single again because he needs time for him. He needs time to heal. And he also said in the song that what made him go and assess his trauma was not just the issues he was having with Jenny throughout their relationship, but Jenny Aiko lost a baby. They lost a baby together. And when that happened, he went down a very dark road. He started drinking. He started drugging. He started doing things he never thought that's why he said, you never know. Or he said for so long, he thought the devil was outside of him. He didn't know how close his demons were. He didn't know. He did not know. But what made him assess those things was when they lost that child. You see? Because what? Part of a man's nature is to what? Procreate. The 4 P's. Let me show y'all. So y'all know exactly what I'm speaking about. The essence of male nature. Procreation. Physical intimacy, ranging from affectionate touches and words to sexual intercourse. Any and all expressions of love, care, or support. The creation and raising of his children with his values and the culture of his household. This is procreation. So when they lost that child, that made him, he lost another part of himself. So he had to basically leave the relationship, or him and Jenny had to separate for him to regain his footing in life. He had to heal. He had to deal with some things that he'd been running from his whole life, because they teach black men to run. Because to be strong as a black man is to uphold the gynocracy. That's strength. That's the strength they need from black men. Uphold the gynocracy. Uphold foolishness. Uphold a backward value system. That's what they call strength, when that's actually cowardice. That is the true definition of being a coward. The true definition of strength and bravery and courage is to face yourself first, brothers. Face yourself. You are not a man until you face your trauma. You see, that's the real work, the inner work. That's why Meek Mill named his album Championships. We won a Super Bowl. Because I'm a better man now. I'm working on becoming the best versions of myself. I'm healing and building. I'm healing and building. I'm not just building, but I'm healing too. I'm healing and building. I'm a champion. I'm a champion. Because what's the sense of having a bag if your mama hates you? What's the sense of having the bag if your children hate you? If you hate you? See, in the song that I played called PTSD, the intro to G Herbo's album, he was talking about what gave him PTSD. This dude was talking about how he'd been dealing from the time he was a teenager, watching all his friends die. Like literally in front of him. Like he had to watch at least 10 of his friends die in front of him. Die right in front of his eyes. Take their last breath right in front of him. He spoke on in an interview how his dad never left him. His dad was always around, but he never took to his dad. And see, what he didn't take to this. He was running from this, from his dad. SOS. Systems, order, and structure. This is what he was running from his dad. But now he grown and he has his own children, he realized that that's all he got when he was out in the streets. When he signed up to join those organizations, which I will not name, that he's a part of, but that's what those organizations are about, because they were started by men. And masculine energy in relationships is all about SOS. And those organizations had SOS. This is why those leaders of those organizations, those black men, are political prisoners. But that's another story. But he admitted that he was running from this from his own dad. And then he had to come back around and realize that his dad was always there. His dad always provided this for him. He just was avoiding it because he didn't think it was necessary. Because he was caught up in what? A different value system. And he said he actually went back and apologized to his dad and told him he loved him. And that he always knew that his dad loved him because he provided him with this. Except now he can see it because he's taken those same values that his dad was trying to show him, and he's showing his son. See, he replaced the debaucherous value system that this culture tells him to practice, and he has replaced it with the 10 life value system, which is to love thyself, love God, take care of your health, take care of your family, pay attention to how you come across to other people. Change the conditions of your environment, of where you live. You see, worry about that first. See, that's taking care of home. See, you always heard the elders say, brother, you got to take care of home. A man take care of home first. Well, guess where your home is first, black man? The home is you. Let me repeat that. The home is you, the inner you. See, that's the first home. That's the first home. If you don't take care of you first, home, you, spiritual, health, family, appearance, and dwelling, if you don't take care of home first, black man, how you going to take care of somebody else? If you don't take care of home, how you going to take care of somebody else's home? See what they want us to do, black man, is to take care of their home. That's why they got us practicing their value system. That's why they taught us in our impoverished environment that depression is not even mental health. It's part of life, black man. You supposed to be depressed because you a black man. And you supposed to live your life trying to overcome depression because that's what black men do. See, that's what we were taught. And once you get a bag, you will no longer be depressed. See, that's what we were taught in the ghetto. That is the state of black male mental health in the ghetto. Once you get a bag, you will not be stressed. Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, let's talk about a black boy named Soldier Boy, Big Draco. Let's talk about Big Draco for a minute. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Salute to all the visionaries. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Make sure y'all share the show. But let's talk about Big Draco, Young Andre, Black Genius. Let's talk about Big Draco. Now, you know why Big Draco went bankrupt, right? And had to revamp his whole career? Because Big Draco got rich when he was young. Right? And Big Draco was poor. So when them corporations got a hold of Big Draco, and when I say a hold of him, I mean a hold of his mind. When they got a glimpse of his genius, they said, "Oh, we gotta pay this. We gotta pay this black genius. We gotta pay him. We need him on our team. We need him to create the next couple of generations of black men." See, y'all think this is a game. When we say in the A-Gang family, this is a spiritual war, y'all think it's a joke. Y'all think this is some hocus pocus. That's what y'all think, right? But who you think built YouTube? Who you think built YouTube? Who you think built MySpace? Huh? All of these apps and these things we deal with today came from the genius of Soulja Boy. These are facts. He's not lying. He's not high on drugs. No, it was from him. These people drew from him. Do you know they came up with the concept of emojis from some of Soulja Boy's biggest songs? Kiss me through the phone. I see you later on. Kiss me through the phone. Now you have kissing emojis. A black boy did that. And I know some of y'all are probably like, yes, one going crazy. He's exaggerating. Because that shows, when you say something like that, that shows just how much you don't value black men. It shows just how much you don't value yourself. Because you don't think black men are that powerful. You don't think that we are the influence. You don't think that, do you? You don't understand that. Good, because that's what they want you to do. But see, when you step into Sheep Stay Sleep TV, the wool will be pulled off your eyes. Kiss me through the phone. I see you later on. Now you got kissing emojis. That come from a black man who came from the ghetto, who didn't understand his value. That's why he had to revamp himself. That's when you saw Soulja Boy going crazy. He was on drugs because they took everything from him. But guess who took from him first? Guess who robbed him first? His family. His family. Value number 3. The third internal value, the third most important thing in a man's life, besides himself, God, and his health, is his family. His family did it to him. He said it. He bought his mother a house. It wasn't good enough. He bought his mama a car. It wasn't enough. He gave his mama millions of dollars. It wasn't enough. That's why you got to heal, brothers. Soulja Boy was a multi-millionaire at 16. He didn't have time to heal. He was so busy what? Being a what? Human doing. Chasing the bag. Chasing the bag. See, a lot of y'all not trying to get no bag. Y'all chasing the bag. And when you're chasing something, you're losing parts of you. And this is why in the industry, you got a lot of brothers who get into the whole, sacrificing their manhood for the bag. Because you're taught a backward value system, which tells you not to value yourself first. So you don't value your manhood first. You don't value your health first. Your family first. You don't take care of home. See, because Soulja Boy thought taking care of home was just going and spending a bunch of money on his family, when that actually drove him crazy, because he didn't understand that he came from crazy people. He came from broken people. He came from mentally scarred people, spiritually afflicted people. Money will not heal them folk. Let me repeat that so y'all can hear me. Money will not heal spiritually afflicted people. You have to exorcise those demons out. You have to heal. Money won't do it. You know what money gonna do? You know what money does? It compounds the lack of self-worth. You know why? Because now I got so much money, I'm gonna go buy a whole goddamn liquor store and put it in my house. I'm gonna go buy a whole liquor store and put it in my house and show it off. Look, y'all, look what I can afford. Look what I can afford. I can afford to drink my life away on camera. That's a mental health issue. Look at all of this material I bought. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Wow, look at me. But all those people, all those names on all that stuff you bought, them people hate your black ass. And I'm sorry to be vulgar, but that's how I felt just now. I had to say it. They hate us, black man. You running around showing your Hermes and your Chanel. They hate you. They hate you. They hate you so much that they made outlet stores because they don't want you around them. See them white folks that you see in them outlet stores with you? They're looked at as vermin just like you. They ain't nobody. But look what happened to Oprah. Look what happened to Kanye. They show you who you are. You're vermin. We don't want you here. Keep your talent, boy. You can't sit with us, boy. Go sit with them. See? See, Kanye being told they're not going to pay him for his intelligence and his brilliance. You know what that showed him? I need to make my own. I need to make my own. I need to go back and do some studying and look at just what we about. This is why you saw Kanye come back with Yeezy. See, remember before Yeezys, Kanye was in the fashion world, designing for Escada and all of those guys. He worked with all of those guys. But when he tried to boss up and he wanted some equity, he wanted some ownership, he didn't no longer want to be a consumer. When he showed them people, hey, I value myself, I value my intellectual property. You're not going to, no. I will no longer be on your plantation. You know what they said? Well, Mr. West, see you later. And you know what that did? That messed with Kanye's self-worth. So why you see he has the mental thing that he got going on. It's not just because of what happened to his mom. It's because how the industry treated Kanye. Y'all got to remember, Kanye is a Gemini. So he deals with things differently. He assessed trauma and things differently. You have to understand this. Plus, I think they just throwing the whole crazy label on Kanye too. That's a way for them to steal his genius. They've been doing that to black men forever too. They throw the crazy label on you. But we understand that Kanye is suffering with some mental health issues due to him not having full time to deal with and process the death of his mom, but also being treated the way he was treated in the fashion world. How he was used and he felt abused, man. And he had to realize that he had to stop seeking validation and he had to validate himself, because that's what black men do. We identify ourselves. I am who I am. I make my own table. But see, how could you ever get to this point if you don't begin to take your health serious, brothers. If you don't begin to take healing serious. Don't tell me you care about your health, but healing is gynocratic. Don't tell me health is important to you, but healing is feminine. Oh, heal before you build is feminine. Really? I thought you said you work out. I thought you said you take care of yourself. I thought it was about Black male independence and taking care of yourself. Then why are you opposed to healing when the word heal is in the word health? When y'all gonna stop running from this? When you gonna stop running? Because what you're doing is you're running from yourself. You're running from yourself. You're running from the real you, which is the internal 5. You're running from the real you, and you're living this life of a representative, which is the external you. Brothers, you got to stop running from yourself. You wonder why you're so depressed? You gotta stop running from those family issues. Stop running from it. Deal with the shit you've been through with your mama. Deal with it. I did the stream, and a lot of y'all didn't watch it because I know y'all probably was like, man, this dude DS1 is just trying to come at us. But I wasn't. I want you brothers to understand that you cannot live a healthy lifestyle without healing. So you got to get over your baby mother. Because that's why you dudes are running around in this space saying F those children. Because you mad at they mama. Why those children got to suffer because you mad at they mama? Get over her. Get over your baby mama. So then you could be the man you truly want to be, which is a family man. Get over your baby mama. Get over it. Am I telling you to just say and keep it pushing? No, that's gynocratic. What I'm telling you is the 10 life value system is right here for you to take and assess your life. And you start with the inner you. That's the healing part. The spiritual value, the health value, the family value, the appearance value, and the dwelling value. Notice today's title, Black Male Mental Health in the Ghetto. In the ghetto. Which speaks to what? The ghetto speaks to what? Our living conditions, our dwelling. Because your living conditions, your environment also speaks to what? Your mentality and the mentality of the people who are there. I know a lot of us grew up in the hood. Some of us grew up in hoods where we had boogeymen. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm not going to call them what we like to call them streetwise. I'm going to just call them boogeymen, right? But a lot of us grew up in those neighborhoods where we had a few of those. Like this dude is known, for soul snatching. I'm going to say that. Do you know that a lot of those type of men are men who suffer from mental health issues? Do you know that? They suffer from mental health issues. The homicidal mindset. That's a mental health issue that comes from the environment and comes from these two values. I'm about to show y'all these two internal values. Well, three: spiritual, family, and dwelling. Spiritual, family, and dwelling. Those three values that are not assessed and left to go into a negative place creates serial killers in the hood. It creates those boogeymen. Those guys that's known for that. You know, Candyman. There was a Candyman in my neighborhood. We didn't name him that, but if you say his name, he will pop up. That's the truth. And I know a lot of us brothers and sisters that's tuned in, y'all know too. But did you ever stop and think that those guys got mental health issues? Go and watch the story of Richard Kalinsky, the Iceman. He tell you how he became what he became and what made him become what he become. Go and watch the story of Preacher, Black Death from Harlem, the Preacher crew, why he did what he did. If y'all ever saw the movie Paid in Full or heard the story of AZ and Rich Porter and Alpo, who you think kidnapped little Darnell? And they was mailing his body parts to his family for ransom, for money. They kidnapped him first. But then they start mailing his body parts. Those dudes was part of Preacher crew. You got documentaries about him. You'll see why he's the way he is. And you'll even get a glimpse of his own son. Because he was taught to be the same way. Even your neighborhood bullies. This is why they say most bullies were once bullied. Because they dealing with these psychological issues. They dealing with the trauma of being bullied and not being taught how to deal with it. And this is a norm for us, brothers. It's a norm. It's a norm. It's sad, but it's a norm for us. And see, what my job is to make healing the norm. See, we're going to make that a norm, brothers. Because we can't say we live in a healthy lifestyle and we're not addressing our mental health. We're not addressing the depression. We're not addressing that a lot of brothers are bipolar. A lot of brothers are schizophrenic. A lot of brothers deal with homicidal thoughts and have suicidal tendencies. And then we even have dysfunctional ways of treating it and dealing with it. So we get addicted to consumerism. We get caught up in all these isms and schisms. And the number one thing we get caught up in is, as I said, consumerism. Because we think we could buy our way out of poverty. We think we could buy our way into a new bill of health. Why would you spend your money on good food if you're around bad people still? This is why the 10 life value system is the value system for us brothers. Because guess what? Yeah, you got the wealth. But what about your living conditions? Has that changed? Has your health gotten any better? Last time I checked, you go to the liquor store every day. You call the pill man every day. You call the weed man every day. Every day. Every time the finish line ad pop up on your Facebook, you gotta buy a new pair of sneakers. Consumerism, which creates a what? A poverty lifestyle, which is what? A unhealthy lifestyle, which proves what? There's no healing. Unhealthy, unheal. Unhealthy, unheal. You're choosing not to heal. You're living a lifestyle that opposes healing. And that's what we have to stop doing in this space, brothers. We have to stop opposing healing. Because that doesn't help, that hinders us. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody, man. Salute to all the visionaries. Salute to all the visionaries that's in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button if y'all haven't yet. Make sure y'all share the show. If y'all enjoyed the show, man, Cash App $SheepStaySleepTV is where y'all can go. Cash App $SheepStaySleepTV is where y'all can go. If y'all enjoyed the show and y'all donated to the show, I appreciate it. Everyone who hit the super chat, I appreciate that. Once again, salute to all the visionaries. Salute to the A-Game family, man. Salute to the A-Game family. Salute to the A-Game nation. Shout out to my brother, the Bishop in the building. A-Game family, A-Game nation. Salute, shout out to Soul Shader for coming through. Mr. Boogeyman for coming through. My man Ism, the Crimson Cure. Let me see who else who came through. My brother Father's Time. Salute. Shout out to Nas. I see you, bro. Thanks for coming through. Shaka New. Peace to the God. I appreciate you for coming through. Golden Child. Andre Bishop. T Church. Everybody, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate if you're watching from the clouds. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the show. Like I said, if you enjoyed the show, don't hesitate to donate to the show. Cash App $SheepStaySleepTV is where you can go. And as y'all know, this episode and this channel is sponsored by A-Game. A-Game, which is a male herbal solution. A male herbal solution. This product promotes optimal health for us men. Optimal health for us men, brothers. So if you want to join this A-Game lifestyle, you want to join this lifestyle that promotes optimal health, and you would like to Get your hands on this great product. Hit the link in the description box, and at your checkout, type in promo code SHEEP in the number 10. That's SHEEP in the number 10 to get a discount off on your purchase when joining this A-game lifestyle, this lifestyle that promotes vitality, energy, strength, and libido for us, brothers. Hit the link in the description, and like I said, at your checkout, type in promo code SHEEP in the number 10 to get a discount off on your purchase for being a visionary and joining this A-game lifestyle. Once again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And remember, brothers, we got to heal before we build. We got to heal before we build. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
I'm running this brief testimony to you, Mr. Holman, about your company, Father's Time, and your product, A-Game. I first want to commend you for creating such a great herbal formula. I felt as if I was on a downward course. First, I suffered from high blood pressure and high cholesterol, and then diabetes. Not to mention my lack of enthusiasm and sexual drive. But thanks to A-Game, those diseases are part of my past. I am a new man. Something told me to keep going. I've taken A-Game for several months now, and it has had a positive, dramatic impact on my life. I have vitality again. I feel invincible, powerful, and focused, and my numbers have reversed to the joy of my family and doctor. As far as my bedroom goes, I've tried the popular pills once or twice, mainly out of desperation. Personally, I don't like unnatural synthetic stuff in my body. Oftentimes they didn't work, and reading about the side effects can be pretty scary. I don't know. They aren't sure if it will fix my problem, but ruin several other organs in the process, and they have no clue how it will affect me in the future. I need A-Game. It's all natural, and your unique blend is unlike anything else on the market. A-Game gives me the strength and energy to be at my best day in and day out. It just works. So thank you for supporting my journey. I can now tell others, never, never give up. Sincerely, one happy customer.